Hello, I'm currently practicing heal Alacrity Scourge in Cerus CM so that I can move on to LCM with it, and I thought I'd do some commentary. We are doing a variant of the standard unit strat in which the Chrono does continuum split portals in phase 1 and 2, so I have to do less portals than I'd usually have in standard unit strat. And you can see the Chrono running away right now, linking to the edge, dropping the portal there, and I also have the first add, and I just drop it on the portal. This is important to not move off the portal because we want the Malice to walk in a specific path, and when it gets close enough I have to immobilize it via Dagger 3 a few times so that it doesn't reach the boss at all. I will do that when we have the next set of puddles, and during the puddles we also get the collection, so I use CPC on the boss so that it doesn't get that much barrier. So now CPC, dodge, and then immobilize via Dagger 3, and I repeat that once it's off cooldown. Next up is the Rage AoE, so I use my Scourge portal to port all of us out of the AoE. Dagger 3 first, then the Scourge portal. And then in case the Malice would still be alive, I'd use another Dagger 3, but we're phasing, so we CC. I should have started a Flash Golem since it's my highest CC skill and used Warhorn for last, but well, it is what it is. Since I'm a healer, I help collect the orbs and then walk back to the boss. Next up we get the green circles. It's random what you get. We would have failed here because there was only one player in the far green, but we managed to phase before, so it was fine. Next up, I will do a convenient Scourge portal. This can also be done in standard unit strat, it's just not in the standard unit strat sheet. And this is done so that melee DPS can have a higher DPS uptime by staying in melee for longer. So starting from now, we have to walk to the right when the wall happens because of empowered walls. And next up, the Chrono will use a CS portal. This would usually be a Chrono portal as well, but I have to use it in CS so that I can do the next one. And I use CPC for the Gluttony collection, and the Chrono will use feedback for the next one. So now there's feedback, and I just keep on collecting. The Chrono will do the next portal. Usually that would be my Scourge portal that I'd have to use now, so that the Malice is brought out in time. However, Chrono portal has more range, so it's again better for our melee DPS with their DPS uptime on the boss. Now we get green into double drop, and we just cleave the adds, stay further away except for the melee DPS. You can also see that the melee DPS will drop their puddles close to the boss in the first set. This is fine because these puddles are from the embodiment of despair, and as long as the embodiment is not active, these puddles don't do anything, so we can just walk through them. They will only hurt if the embodiment is currently on the arena. I have to jump this wall and then provide some Condi cleanses, rest up the down player. They should have just walked with us, then I wouldn't have gotten downed here. And now again we have a Chrono portal. Sometimes in this strat though I have to use Scourge portal if the Chrono didn't manage their cooldown properly. Another collection, so I use CPC. And then we phase, and this time I use my CC properly. I start with Flash Golem and a 4 and then use Torch 5. And here usually we want CPC or feedback on the embodiment as well, but both of us used it in the last collection, so we didn't have it up. And then we get the wall. I dodge away, but not everyone manages to. I jump above the wall, and since not everyone made it, I Condi cleanse by applying barrier and using F2 as well. Next up, I will use the normal Scourge portal to get us out of the AoE and to bait the wall properly, and as soon as the AoE is done, we take it back. And since I didn't use it straight across, we don't have to sidestep at all. Next up, the Chrono will pre-place their portal for the first big double drop, and I use CPC for the first collection, and then the Chrono will use feedback for the second one. Then the Malices have to use the portal almost immediately, and everyone else will follow when the AoE appears. We do not have a DC, but we just keep on playing. it's still fine. Next up is the big drop. I walk a few steps back, but I still stay close that I can use F4 if players get downed, and actually someone got down, so I pull them, rest them up, and this means that I won't have F4 for this drop, but it's fine as everyone made it. Again, small wall, we have to jump it, and then I Condi cleanse with barrier and F2, and then we walk to the other side for the next wall. After this wall, we will get the bad collect. The Chrono will use a CS portal for that, and we still try to manage to get as many orbs on our way out as possible, and it's my job to use CPC here. So now I use CPC, the Chrono uses their portal, and I try to snag some orbs before taking the portal. And then next up is my Scourge portal. It should be somewhere behind X and out of the AoE, so I wait until I see where it is. Everyone takes it, and then we take it back. I think I should have put it a bit closer so that Gw2 could still hit the boss though. The next portal we have to take immediately. If we don't do that, we can get more Malices that we don't want to have. Again, these are puddles from the embodiment, so they can be dropped quite close to the boss. And next, I will precast my portal, quickly walk in line to properly bait the wall, and then after dodging, wait a tiny bit for potentially downed players, but since no one was downed, I took the portal. And we keep on walking because of the next wall, which we again will have to jump over, and I again will provide Condi cleanse, and this time, since I have it up, I also use my healing well, because the Gw2 will use combo finishers in it that also cleanse. This means though that these combo finishers won't be used from the feedback, which would be a DPS increase, so keep that in mind. And here we get the CS portal, take it back, and then we slow down DPS just to make our phasing easier. If you phase here, you only have very limited time to not get a bad collection, so we don't DPS, we wait for the drop, and then when the green appears, we will phase. And then I use F4 and Flash Golem for CC. I also use CPC since the collection started, and I also use my healing well to chop everyone off from the smash. Then I will use my Scourge portal close to star. I try to use it so that Gw2 are still in range, but I'm not sure if it's close enough. When we walk, I use F4 for the active healing and also provide some barrier with F1 and F3. We walk to the boss, and I use barrier and F4 as soon as possible for the green damage and smash damage. When we walk back, I use my healing well since we're stationary for a bit, and CPC for the collection, and also Serpent Siphon to block the Malice spawn damage. When we will get out again, I again provide some barrier, we dodge, and then I use F4 again for the active healing. We don't rest a down player, however, as to not split the group, and we're still enough players to walk to the boss and finish him off anyways. And again, for the next green, I just make sure to provide as much barrier and healing as I can while keeping my well for when we're stationary again. So now I use my healing well, CPC for collection, and just heal and barrier as much as I can so that we kill the boss. And that's it. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something. Bye!